like I got nothing to do. Hit up Sim Standard Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you on the field. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K, just listen for one day. They'll grab you when you say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with Sim Standard Radio.
What's up, guys? What's going on, man? Looks like we're back for another show, but it appears that we're having technical difficulties, so you're going to have to bear with me for a moment. It looks like the phone line is not working. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, so Smitty's trying to get on right now. I'm going to try to dial the number again. The crazy thing is it looks like it's giving me, when I sign in, it's giving me a different guest phone number. So I'm going to try that real quick. And for you guys who are listening, try dialing this number as well. Well, hold on. Let me check it myself. And again, guys, I apologize for the inconvenience here. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here. Give me a second. All right, guys. It looks like there is for some reason, there's a different phone number here. The phone number is 516-453-9126. Again, 516-453-9126. And I'm going to let me call Smitty back, guys. Again, I apologize for this. I don't know what is going on. I see 803 is on the line. I would love to know what number you called. So let me give Smitty a call back. Bear with me, guys. We'll get this going in just a second, man. You know, live radio, mistakes happen. And I know we have Damon that's calling, so I need to make sure I have the right number. All right, guys, bear with me, man. All right, Smitty, what's going on? It looks like there's another number that's popping up, and it seems to work because I just called it. This is very strange. So try dialing this number and see if it works. I don't know if you got a pen or anything with you. All right. It says 516-453-9126. 9126. And while you do that, I'm gonna bring on 803 because he's on the line. I'm just gonna verify what number he called. So let me do that real quick. All right, 803, man. What number did you call to get us tonight?
Yeah, I dialed 516-453-9126. The old number didn't work. I got a weird message, so I went to the Sim Standard Radio, Blogspot radio show, and then that's where I got this number.
Wow, I don't know what happened, man. I appreciate you doing that. We're gonna put you back on mute. I don't know if you want to speak a little later. Right. Oh, actually, man, since you're on here, man, I mean, if you got a question for us, go ahead and ask now, man, because I don't know what's going on with the phone line. I appreciate you calling and finding that new number.
Oh yeah, no problem. I was really just gonna listen for a while, but since you brought me in, I called last week and I was talking about the war in the trenches, and Azul was right. You know, I mentioned wanting to be more of a mini game, and I guess that was the wrong terminology, but I guess I should have said more of a game within the game, and so he kind of nailed it with that. But I was just gonna talk a little more about that, and some of my ideas for, what they can do with it going forward. But, I just want to talk about that a little bit, but I didn't know if you want to bring me back later once you guys, do your intros and get the show going or not. But, it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I could definitely, if you don't mind, I'll definitely bring you back in later. I actually see Damon Grow is trying to get in on it as well. He's letting me know that the number is not working. So what we're probably going to do is get Damon in, definitely thank him for giving us his time. And then, we'll bring you back in, man, if you're still on. I appreciate you calling and checking out that number. I see a lot of guys are tweeting me now, waiting for Smitty to come in. So bear with me, guys. Let me respond back to 205 here, and I'm definitely gonna call Blog Talk once I'm done, man. This is unacceptable. I don't know what has happened. The number has completely changed. All right, I have Damon on the line. Bear with me, Damon, man. I'm just waiting for waiting a half second here, waiting for Smitty to get in. If Smitty is unable to get in the next, I'll say 2 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you in because I know your time is pressing. We definitely appreciate you calling. Of course, this would be the night that we're having technical difficulties, but that's how it happens, man. It's live radio, so give me about 2 minutes here. Waiting to see if I can get some more guys in. Yeah, as you guys can hear, I got people texting and tweeting me, man. I don't know what the deal is tonight, but we're gonna overcome it. There we go. We got people on the line now. I got Smitty in here now. Smitty, there we go. That goes.
All right.
I don't know what the deal is, man. This is crazy. I think it's Damon's fault, man. I'm gonna blame Damon. We got Damon in, man. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in, guys. Let's do the quick intro. Appreciate everybody calling, everybody redirecting to the website. It's funny, you see how fast technology works. I see guys are lighting up the line now. I'm definitely gonna call Blog Talk and find out, what happened. If this is just gonna be the number, it is what it is. But I need to know why that happened. But anyway, man, we're gonna bring Damon in first. That's definitely gonna be the first part of the show, and then we'll come back and we'll grab the topic. We are on a 3-hour difference, so we definitely don't want to keep him waiting. The way it's going to work, guys, we're not going to open the line up for, questions unless he wants to do that. We're going to give him that freedom. But me and Smitty are just going to talk to him a little bit. Just allow him to explain the product, and just ask a few questions. Keep it very professional, very respectful. I know some guys are expecting us to attack. No, it's not about that, man. We appreciate him giving us a call and giving us the opportunity. So we're definitely just going to talk to him professionally. All right, so let's go ahead and get that started. I believe this is Damon. Is this you, Damon?
Yeah, I think this is me.
Yeah.
Hello?
All right.
You guys hear me? Okay,
yeah.
Perfect, yeah. No, everything's my fault, so it's anything technical. Even in the office, things go wrong, they blame me, so it's cool.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, we thank you for calling. Definitely appreciate that. And sorry for all of the technical difficulties tonight, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. So like I explained on the call, man, we're definitely not going to open it up for callers, anything like that, unless you prefer to do that. We just want to give you the opportunity to speak a little bit on behalf of Joe Montana, and then, of course, we'll have a couple questions or what have you. Definitely out of respect for you, we'll let you go ahead and begin. And if you just want to give us, just go ahead and let us know exactly what you guys have going on.
Yeah, I was hoping you guys had a lot of questions. I do have a very short time frame. I have to go to a meeting in a little bit, but yeah, I'm totally open. It's good. Definitely wanted to reach out to everybody, and I've been on a couple of podcast stuff recently. Just trying to get it. We finally are starting to sort of get our feet underneath us after E3. Obviously, it was quite extraordinary for a lot of us and for the team. So yeah, I'm just kind of getting back in the swing and just trying to get all the inbound that was coming at us after the event. It was pretty spectacular. So we're just here. I just want to reach back out, talk to everyone. Hope to forge a very long lasting relationship with the community. And just whatever questions you guys had, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll definitely ask one quick question. And I guess
sure.
We'll alternate. I'll ask a question, and maybe Smitty can ask a question, and then you can let us know how much time you have. But I guess the very first question from me would be, I just would want to know what exactly led up to, I guess the very quiet approach to marketing. What was the decision to not let everyone know in the beginning exactly what you guys had planned?
Well, I think I alluded to it in the Unreal interview that, when we started through social media, Joe was posting some stuff, and, we just kind of we wanted to see how it was, how much it was going to come back to us, right? Like how much people were going to talk about it, were they interested? It was sort of a test to see what kind of interest there was from gamers. And we just kind of stuck with that. We had a plan to announce at E3, so we kind of stuck to our plan. There were a lot of times we wanted to come fully out, but we wanted to make sure that we had all our ducks in a row. And as it started, it kind of took a life of its own, right? It was really, really kind of crazy. So, and we talked about that internally, like, wow, maybe this was the right timing. We tried to understand what the feedback was and what everything was coming at us. So yeah, we just decided to keep pushing out through our, Joe's social media channel. He is a social media powerhouse in himself, and he has a lot of stuff going on as well. So, we had a very sort of process-based way of we wanted to sort of come out, and this is what we thought was the best way. So we just decided to do it that way.
Okay. Well, Sim had basically that was really one of the main questions that I had in terms of going about it in that route. Because I mean, I know that while it was not received the greatest, obviously, as we found out, because I mean, a lot of people were looking forward to hearing more than a roster update, and you waited long enough, and then to find out that the approach was mobile. Was it more of something that could have been announced? Was it contemplated at all to possibly announce that up front initially, and then it was just kind of held back or scaled back in terms of saying that? Because I just think that, and this is from me talking with peers and everything, that if it was more up front, if it was at least announce more up front, we don't have it clear as far as what direction we may be mobile, might be on PC, eventually console. But I just think the reception may have been a bit warmer. So basically going around the block with it, was that on the table to initially announce out the gate that if this might be on mobile, might be on PC, more towards that area initially in terms of an announcement?
No, actually, and what happened was, no one really expected how it just turned out, right? No one really expected the amount of support. No one really expected how big the idea could actually be. And, what happened was that created a lot of activity for us. So we met with everybody, right? I mean, things were just coming at us like at light speed. So we decided to play all that out. But our plan was initially this summer to start coming out and start showing people, what we've done with our partner to Unreal. So that was our initial plan. And I think it just sort of took on a life of its own. There was a lot of chatter out there, and, we just decided to stick with our process.
Okay.
All right. Well, definitely, it's good to ask the questions now. It's always good, and I thank you for at least coming on and fielding them, because you definitely don't have to do that. So we appreciate that. Like you said, it was a lot of chatter going on, and I think most of us was expecting a console game. And I guess what I would say is, I think, and I don't want to act like I'm trying to tell you guys how you should do it, but I think it would have been received a lot better because we all want competition. So I think if you guys would have came out first and said, hey, this is what we're trying out, and shown us that it was going to be mobile, because for what it's worth, what I saw in the Unreal interview I mean, the game doesn't look bad. So if you would have introduced that to me as a mobile product, I would have been like, whoa, now I'm waiting to see what these guys are going to do if they ever make it to PC and make it to console. So, I'm glad that you're able to at least, come on and clear that up, because, most people, I guess, because of the passion of the competition, they just reacted and they said, oh, he lied. And I'm like, there's got to be more than that. When I understand business, I just wanted the opportunity to ask that question, because, of course, initially we all felt misled.
So yeah, I didn't really try to say anything that hopefully misled anybody. We didn't make any comments. We definitely wanted to make sure that, we stuck to our plan. And when we came out, we kind of knew that it was going to, there's so much want in the community. We didn't expect how much desire there was. But again, we see this as a marathon. We have a first step, we have a second step, third step, it's this step. To break into a market, it's extremely hard for anyone. That's why there hasn't been any other competitors that have actually come up. But we also wanted to be innovative. We also wanted to show people what was actually possible on the devices and what was coming out. And really give us a chance there. And if we prove ourselves there, then of course the world can change rather rapidly. So yeah, there are extenuating circumstances. There is the current business environment out there, which everyone that's a gamer and everyone that's especially specifically a football gamer who's had to be like this for the last 12 years, really understands those mitigating circumstances. And at least on that part, it's been really awesome. People are like, look, if we come out and we do well here, we do well, we get all of our pillars right, we start building this product for the long term, in years down the line, we could have something just spectacular, get everything that we all wanted. But for right now, this is what we can do. This is where we decided to put our put our tent up at. And there's a lot of innovative things we can do. Like, for instance, everyone says, when the video came out, it was like, oh man, it looks great. And it's like, oh, I really wish it was console. And then, but the stuff that we can do with today's technology, obviously we're not going to change everybody's mind. Everyone wants that experience, right there when they're sitting there with their console. But again, I believe I said in a couple other interviews is our philosophy when we designed the game from the get-go was how can we be a part of, football gamers' daily life? And I keep alluding to it. Football gamers are a little bit different. Sports gamers specifically are different than a lot of the other genres of games, like RPGs and stuff. We're passionate about certain types of games, but there's only football, right? There is a certain subset of rules. Those rules are understood by the majority of people or fans. And then we wanted to philosophically be a part of your daily life from, morning to when you're at work to, at nighttime. You're going to go home and you're going to play whatever game is on a console, the only game. But are you going to get that same experience that you want? So we want to bring whole new experiences. They're going in one direction, we're going into another, but I believe that we can fulfill your needs, at least in some ways, in the beginning, in one way. So there's a lot of things that other, there's only another competitor that they're doing, and they're going to go and they're going to keep driving that direction. Well, we're going to go a different direction and hopefully fulfill those needs. And I guess that was what our whole plan was when we started designed it. And that can move into definitely in our next step is MVP, and then, if the world changes as it currently is, console is always an option. And that's what Unreal allows us to do too, right? Unreal allows us to scale and back and scale. Everything we designed was from a AAA aspect. So, our models are high poly. We've got, we really piled it in there. But when you see the power of metal, you're like, wow. Maybe that'll be like even worse, right, for people. I think that's what other people are anxious about. It's like, oh man, but it still looks incredible. Like, why can't this just be, on my screen? Well, we live in 2015 and that is possible. So, we have to just sort of, we have to be competitive, but there's also ways of competing that isn't directly competing that can be in an indirect competition. So, but we're going to do our best job to service the needs of gamers, our football gamers. Again, they're very, very unique. They're very passionate about that one sport. And I met some people, some football fans at E3, and they're like, I really just love football games. But yeah, well, that's the whole idea. Most people go there, the new Final Fantasy remake's coming out, the new Fall is coming out. There's a lot of gamers are excited about different things, but when you meet football gamers, they're like, this is my life. This is what I love. So since we were kids, so.
Well, one quick question I would have, and then,
sure.
Like I said, definitely, let us know how much time you have. But from the community, I have a couple guys, and I don't know if you can go into detail with this yet, but they want to know how you guys are planning to rate your players. And the example that they gave me is that, of course, and you've even heard us say, Madden tends to have too many ratings for players that are unnecessary, whereas a game like Backbreaker had just a few ratings, but there were more ratings underneath. And then, of course, with 2K8, All Pro Football, we all know how that game is. We all can agree we love the ability system along with some numerical rating. So are you at this point able to speak on that? What type of approach you guys are taking with the rating?
So I'm not able to elaborate on the specifics, but we definitely have a streamlined process. I hope that's good enough. Like we're gonna try to streamline it all. Where isn't going to be overwhelming for the user, right? So I'm sorry, I wish I could answer more of that, but we definitely, think it's too crazy right now. So we definitely have a streamlined process. We want to streamline the whole abilities and the whole, I want to elaborate more, but I can't. Darn it, I'm so sorry. We're definitely going to share it with everyone, especially our early guys. We're going to be like hardcore on this, but I'm not able to share too much of that. But yeah, we're going to streamline as much as possible.
Not a problem. I think we can kind of read between the lines. Smitty, do you have another question?
No, I really didn't have any additional questions. Like I didn't have anything written down or what have you. That was just really my main thing in terms of the initial onset as far as it being announced. Because, one of the things that I was trying to, I was saying was that, I was excited for competition, but at the same time, I was cautiously optimistic amongst all this speculation because we didn't have anything really to grab onto officially at that point. So that's why, that was one of my main concerns was until we really have something official that we can truly sink our teeth into, and I mean, I pretty much alluded to that when you had called in the show back in, I think it was February or January. I said that, I'm with you, but I needed an official press release and some raw gameplay. Like, I need something that I could really grab into. Then I could be like, okay, Damon, I'm with you all the way. Now, I'm with you. I'm with you in principle, but I can truly rock with you because I got something official I could grab onto and say, they coming with this Unreal Tech. They got this game. It's going to have these features, So, without that, it makes it hard to truly just latch on and say, hey, man, you know what? It's going to be the hottest thing coming, but I have nothing to grab onto, though. And that's, and that's with anybody, that's with anyone. So I'm just saying, but, but I do appreciate all this, so,
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally understand. I mean, there's, again, a part of what makes the football gaming genre really difficult is there are extenuating circumstances, there are outside forces that make it very difficult. So, bigger, it's quite crazy. So, but, if you want to do an RPG game, I can just make up anything, right? And be like, oh, it's, fantasy meets, cyberpunk meets this, and here's a new game with a new title, and, it looks awesome, everybody plays. With football, it's that NFL experience, that whole experience that people experience on Sunday, that has, there's only one. So, we're all sort of competing over that one piece, and it's huge. So there's where it comes in the fact where we try to say, okay, well, if we're going to look at this long term, establish the franchise for long term, we're going to start here. There's over 1 billion smartphone devices out there. We're going to be able to get it out as fast as possible. We're going to be able to iterate quicker than our competition. We're going to be able to do things faster. And the idea behind the technology that Apple was bringing, and Unreal was bringing with Metal, really the quality. I kind of liken it to that sort of Cindy Blade moment when Steve Jobs was up on stage, with Cher and showing it off, and it's just incredible. So, give it a chance. I know people are just going to, completely say, screw that, I don't care, but, we're hoping to, pack in everything that people wanted, but it was also with them, they're going to be able to take them through the day, to the power of their pocket, right? Like how powerful and how crazy these things are nowadays. And you can play it on your screen too, through Apple TV, through Google Chromecast. You're going to be able to have that same experience. Just for right now, we decided that, distributing it through smart devices are just the best way to go for the first version of it. I think someone asked, we didn't expect so much demand like there is now, so we didn't expect people to say, well, just put it on early access, we'll just go right now. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. And I think someone even made a petition, which is pretty funny. It was awesome. And we're just like, wow, I've never been a part of a product where people made petitions for them. And that was quite spectacular, right? Where you're just like, wow, people, I know it's crazy, guys. The whole aspect is, there's only one competitor out there, but that's okay. We'll compete the best way we can, and in a lot of ways, hopefully we can drive a lot of innovation, not only this, but also talking in community, right? So talking to you guys, again, I think I've said before that the whole between developer and between the gamer is actually that's dissolved, right? So, with social media, with Twitter, with everything else, I'm actually just suggesting Twitter. So even though I seem pretty active on it, I still have pretty much no idea what to do with it. But so what we wanted to do is, be very forward-facing and just, try to talk to people who want to talk to us and get the best feedback we can. And, we take criticism as much as we take praise. And we don't take it personally. I don't take it personally. But this is just the best first step for our company at the time. And, if everyone, can follow in this journey, this marathon with us, by the end of it, I think we'll win.
Well, we definitely appreciate it, man. And, you've done a couple interviews already, so we're not going to hold you long and keep asking some of the same repetitive questions. So I guess the only last question I have for you, the only last question, and this is just a competitive question. You've even heard us say probably here on the show that, in a year or two, 2 years from now, we don't feel like if a competitor gets in fast enough, they will catch Madden. Do you kind of feel that way, or does that waver you at all? Are you all worried at all that if that game continues to, I guess, kind of go towards where we want it to go, do you think they will overshadow you guys? Like, does that make you, I don't want to say afraid, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, does that make you feel kind of like, I don't know, man, like, if they keep getting and doing what they're doing, it's going to be hard on us. How do you guys, kind of feel about that?
Oh, that's a really great question. So I guess an analogy, back in the day, you guys know the Google story, right? It was a couple guys in their at Stanford, in their dorm room. They had the server stacked up in a closet. And at the time when they were going out there, pitching Google, everyone said, well, who wants another Alta Vista, right? Or who wants another Excite, or who wants another one of these, right? I think that's been proven that even though something can be completely saturated as a market, a new entrant with a new way of doing things can come in and be the dominant player. So are we afraid? Absolutely not. Do we see competition? Absolutely. I mean, they've been in a dominant position for such a long time, but that's okay. We believe that we'll be able to innovate in a way where we'll be able to move faster. And, I liken that analogy because it's the same thing, right? So, there's always that big dominant sort of corporation, and then a new entrant comes along and can actually dominate as well, right? So if they make the right moves, if they have the right support from the community, if they have the right thing. So I guess hopefully that answers your question. We're definitely not afraid of competition. That's the thing we should not be afraid of. And always just in the whole broad spectrum of just business, you'll always see the big guy, but you shouldn't be afraid of it. You should try to outcompete.
Absolutely. Well, man, we're definitely gonna let you get out of here. The only last statement I would say is, and I think I can speak for Smitty and the guys who are listening, if you guys can try to approach just fluidity, beautiful animation, just a fluid game, because obviously, and you guys know that, obviously being new kids on the block, of course it's going to take you time to get everyone to gravitate. I think all of us here would definitely support it. We supported Backbreaker, we supported PKA. Yeah. But I think if you can do that, because those are still the things that we complain about with the other game. How it looks, how it moves, how it, the fluidity of it. If you can nail that in crisp animation, I think that's a great start to at least attract the eye of us football gamers. If you can at least do that. We'll stay right there with you.
Thank you, man. So I hate to say it this way, but probably the reaction that when I know that we've done exactly what you've asked for is if you load it up on your new iPad 3 or your new, iPhone 7, 6S, whatever, you load it up and it's what you're asking for. When you're like, I hate Damon even more, like that moment right there is when I know it's just a job. like you know what I mean? It's like I wish this was, on my PS4, like or whatever, right? Like you just be like, so I hate to say it that way, but you know what I mean, right? You're like, that's when I know I'll do a good job. So please, guys, tell me that. Like I hate you even more. So yeah, I definitely, absolutely. I think one of the first things, why I wanted to talk to you guys the most is, it's almost like, it's hard to say, right? I guess, what makes things, for instance, sorry, more philosophical here, you go to you go to Louvre, right, in Paris, and you go in there and, you see all these great works of art, and as just a person, maybe not even into art, great art, right? And it's almost imperceptible. I think there was a Malcolm Gladwell book called Blink, I think it is, where your instinct in its own is built up over your experiences over your life. But what happens is when you can see something and you can know that it's good. You can know that it's a work of art. You can know that it's correct. And a lot of that is, even in motion and the way things fit together. You can play a video game now, guys, like any video game you play, you can tell when things were done with, perfection in mind, right? Like this has to feel right. So what we definitely are really focused on is making sure that it just feels crisp, it feels clean, it feels natural. And because you guys will know. And the big reason I wanted to talk to everyone really early, earlier this year, and to really get to know you guys is you're going to be our biggest critics, but you're also going to be our biggest help, right? Or you're really the biggest asset because you know what is great art. You know in the game, you can almost see the math in the game, right? Like you guys see it when you play, when you play other football games. You just, even though you see the animation interactions, you actually see mathematics running, sort of like the Matrix, right? You see all the stuff going on, and you can tell the plot almost in a natural sort of state because your instincts tell you so. And a lot of you guys played football, so you actually have muscle memory. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. So, I talk to NFL players all the time, and they're like, a big thing is they're like, I can't wait because we're on the road so much now. So, NFL teams are really on the road a lot, right? They're flying around. Now they have to go up to London every year, some teams. And some people are like, I want to get my fill and play this game, on my devices when I'm on the road. I can't bring my console with me, even though I want to. So, but I asked them, they asked me, like, when do you feel that this game's going to be right? I was like, well, when your body twitches, right, because your muscle memory. And they're playing right now, so they're highly tuned. Right, their muscle memory is super highly tuned. So when you're playing it and you feel, your muscles twitching, you feel that interaction, that's when we'll be really successful. So they seem to like that. So.
Hey man, not much more I can say, man. I mean, I fully agree with that. And like I said, from what I saw. And I'll be honest, we all were disappointed. We all had a little feelings moment. But when I went back and looked at that video, I was like, you know what? The game actually doesn't look bad. I mean, that looks pretty darn good for a mobile product. So I'm still, even though we're a little disappointed, I'm still excited to see what you guys actually have. And like I said, we'll definitely support it.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And we're going to be. We had a ton of signups on the site. It was just incredible. Something like 50,000 or something. It was just absolutely crazy. So we are definitely, getting people to sign up for the pre-alpha. And we're going to do it this fall, and we're going to start letting people in. But everyone that I'm interacting with now today, hopefully we get you guys in super early, get you guys devices, and get you guys trying the game out. And starting from there. And we'll just, this is the grassroots approach, that cliche, it's just built for the fans, by the fans. You see that in everything. But, we really wanted to start the grassroots approach. And, you guys, put our feet to the fire and say, this has to be right, or it's not going to be a great product. So I thank you guys so much.
And we thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys on Twitter, and you message me anytime, guys. And I'd love to talk more, and I'm hoping to get a way to get all talk more frequently soon once we get to our next phase. But we'll figure something out. Again, we are a startup, so things can move really fast with us. And we had tons of inbound from last week, so I'm just trying to get my feet underneath me right now. But but it's really cool, man. And thank you guys so much for the support. And we'll talk very soon. And good luck with the rest of the podcast.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on tonight, and definitely take care.
Okay, have a good night, guys. Bye.
All right, you too. So there you have it, guys.
All right.
Wow, that's a great way to kick off the show. Like I said before, we're definitely sorry for the phone. I don't know. I really have no idea what has happened here. Maybe my guy, Shopmaster and Mad Sciences, could give me some insight on that. Does the numbers change randomly? I don't know what went on. So for anybody who's listening right now, again, tonight, apparently, you have to call us at 516-453-9126. We'll let you know if this is a permanent number or not, and if me and Smitty both will have to change our video outros with the new number. But hey, man, what a great interview, man. I guess Smitty and I can reflect on it for just a moment, and then we'll real quickly jump into the next topic that I'm sure we'll have guys calling in tonight. You know, I have to say this, Smitty. I definitely respect Damon for even giving us a call, doing the other interviews with guys that he's spoken with this week. Because, to be honest with you, man, he could very simply just not speak to anybody. You know, he knew that guys were upset. He knew that we were disappointed. He definitely knew how we even felt, how on the show we said we hadn't talked to him in a while. And with all of that being said, he still, you know, I was able to reach out to him on Twitter. He responded. I welcomed him onto the show. He gladly accepted. And I have to acknowledge that. I mean, because, you know, because we deal with this all the time. You know, people that don't know, first thing they want to do is call somebody, you know, oh, they're soft, or they're weak, or they're dumb, or whatever the case. You know, you hear this about even the Madden devs. But like I always say, man, people's true colors come out. You know, the character of a man starts showing itself if you put him in enough situations. You see it on YouTube. A lot of these, you know, people's character are exposed on YouTube because they can't hide. And I say all that to say this. That shows a lot of character on his part, knowing how things went. Not only did he call us tonight, but look at all the interviews he's done. I got to respect that. And, you know, to see how he was able to call the show, and we explained to him how we were disappointed, and we gave our real feelings on it, and we still ended up with a very professional, successful phone call. Great stuff, man. And that's how things are supposed to happen. That's what this show is for. This is a community show. We try to bring you guys the best content for the community. Simple. But as far as what he said, I really like the fact that I tried to put him to the test a little bit, and I said, hey, man, you know, we've said it on this show. Y'all don't hurry up. Y'all ain't going to be able to catch Matt. And what did he say? Well, you know, we're not scared. You know, and what he said was actually true. How many times have you seen a little company come in with whatever type of product and they steal some light from the giant? Mm-hmm. Prime example. Now, this is not a little company, but I'll give you a good example. Y'all remember when Android first made a phone? Remember everybody was like, I'm on that iPhone. Nah, Android's Android. They making fun of it. They talking about the little green man. Now look what's happening. Android is popping. That Galaxy 6 Edge, popping. Your boy is thinking about getting that phone. Because I'm not a biased person in regards of company. I like the iPhone. I love the iPhone. But what I like the most about the iPhone is the way it was built. I felt like the hardware of the phone was built better. Because I had the, what was that phone? The Evo, the HTC Evo. I had those phones and they broke up. So after the Evo, I said, you know what? I'm going back to the iPhone. And I loved it because I liked the stability of the phone itself. Not necessarily the OS. But now, I got my eye on that S6 Galaxy Edge. Brother-in-law just got it, and he's an Apple fanatic. But it's a great phone, and it works so well with the Google Watch. I'm really thinking about it. But before I get off the topic, I'm just trying to show you guys that's the point. They came in and Google phones and all that and was like, yo, we're going to step in this arena and compete. And right now, arguably, They're probably not bigger than Apple, of course not, but there's a lot of people who have Galaxy or Android devices. So I love the fact that he said, no, we're not scared of competition. We do know what's ahead of us, but hey, the little guy can step in the ring and get a few jabs on the big boy. We might catch him with a little left hook real quick, and he might shake it off. He might beat us in the end, but he gonna know we was in that fight. That's what I like to hear. What you got, Smitty?
Well, I definitely got to commend Damon for, stepping in, like you said, basically. I mean, for stepping into the ring, and he took, and you know what, he definitely took the hit on the chin, but I definitely got to respect the fact that he went about taking the shot, doing the interviews and everything with everybody, as people were requesting them along the way. All these different interviews and perspectives and thoughts given. That I definitely commend him for. So I want to see. I mean, look, even with what happened, I mean, I still feel that. I do feel that. I mean, I've said it on Twitter. It does have to be proven with the product. Like, the product has to speak volumes now more than ever. Like, that's going to be the big deal, because the initial opening was not, done. So you have to win the trust back. The best way you can win the trust back. And that's something we'll definitely talk about. We could touch on that a little bit later on here with the topics. But to win the trust back, you deliver on your product. You know what I'm saying? Even now, in this case, we're talking about mobile. So what Damon is going to have to do, what him and the crew going to have to do is, they're going to have to make people desire this game on mobile platform and be like, dang, I wish this was on console. Like he has said. You're going to have to deliver that kind of gaming experience on the tablet. Now, if you can do it, which it can be done. So if you can do it, that game can easily evolve from the tablet, or the phone, to PC. And you still got that Project Greenlight. You have that with Steam. So that could definitely help you in terms of catapulting your game to the PC platform. So if they haven't considered that route already, I mean, that's something to definitely consider and take into, bear that in mind if they want to go the PC route, which I definitely believe they would want to. So, but overall, I commend them for, like I said, for the interviews, for speaking up in regards to the product. And I mean, I definitely wish the best for it. I said that I was going to support it no matter what the circumstance. So I definitely will be buying the game. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Whenever it comes out. So if he said Android, it's not coming out on Droid until next summer, then next summer, I'll definitely be downloading it. I'll definitely be making that purchase, whatever it is. So I'll definitely get it and support it, no doubt. So, but thanks, Damon, for definitely calling in. Like, that was greatly appreciated. So,
yeah, man.
Those are my thoughts.
Greatly appreciate that. So, yeah, that was great, man. Really, really appreciate that. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next couple of topics, man. Damon was really the big one, so we're glad he came in early and got that out of the way. But we're also gonna talk about Madden 13, man, and the E3 feedback from the community. And there's, like I put in the description, is oh Lord, you see, y'all can see I'm behind, man. I must be still on that Pacific time. Madden 16, as Smitty definitely corrected me there. There's so much to talk about it in this topic, and I think we're going to go on for a moment with that. We definitely want to talk about the reception from the community in regards to what has been shown at E3, in regards to the trailer and the deep dives and footage that we've been able to put out. It is Madden going in a simulation direction. The reason why we want to approach that is because we also want to talk about the current state of the franchise. One of the viewers and fellow YouTube guys may get his name wrong, Jet Knight, NY.
Jedi Knight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jedi Knight. He made a kind of a video response to one of our last shows, and we'll talk a little bit about what was said in that show. We definitely agree with a lot of the things that he said, but that's going to allude to the state of the franchise as well as, we want to ask, man, have people forgotten that Madden is in a rebuilding stage? I don't know if people are taking that into account. So we'll, definitely breeze over that real quick. It's pretty much stuff we talk about all the time, but, it seems like nowadays everyone has, I don't want to say convenient because I don't think they do it on purpose, but it's almost like people have amnesia by default. I think it's because of this age that we live in, social media and all of that. Everybody is worrying about what's now. So what you say right now is what they hear. They don't hear what was stated 2 years ago, 2 months ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Everyone always judges by what's stated right now. And we'll get into that. But then also, another topic that we want to bring up, this is one of our fellow followers on Twitter, 504. I know I got his name wrong. Let me get his name, and I'll come back to the name. But basically, we had a discussion about Madden changing their name. He feels like Madden is no longer involved with football, which is absolutely true. And he feels like that the franchise would benefit from just changing the name. He's basically reflecting off of what Rex said, how they said they're going for authentic football. So he said, hey, why not call the game EA Sports NFL Football or what have you? So me and Smitty will definitely kick that around, and we'll give you our opinion as well as why we feel like that probably will never happen. And the name is 504 Who Dat Guy. So that's, like I said, this is a guy that's been following us for a long time. We chop it up with him a lot. So we definitely want to give him credit for that topic. So let's go ahead and get started, man. Madden. I'll give my quick piece, Smitty, and then I'll throw it to you. I mean,
all right.
Surprisingly, there's been a lot of positive feedback. Excuse me. A lot of positive feedback. And I say surprisingly, and I said this in my video as well, because let's face it, most of the time over the last 5-6 years, Madden is always a good pocket of individuals, throughout the football gaming world. I mean, even those that we don't communicate with. You see a lot of guys on OS, and a lot of those dudes I've never talked to or what have you, but there's always a decent number of people that just shoots the game down immediately. You're not seeing that so much this time. You saw it slow down a little bit with Madden 15, but now, early results, you're not seeing that. The proof is, you go ahead and look at OS, you see more people are talking positively. You look at my personal videos, way more likes than a few dislikes. You look at some of the other guys out there, there's other game changers who have footage. Shout outs to the guy, I forgot his name right now, but I did meet the guy who was able to rough out that full game, the Giants and the Titans. Great work, very inconspicuous. I met him. I apologize, my man. I can't remember your name. I think it's Sports Gamer Online, I think his name was. But you look at his footage, you look at the likes versus the dislikes, and you just overall, especially the EA Sports page, if you go look at that trailer, look at all of those likes versus dislikes. It's very positive. And the point I want to make is, we say this all the time. I mean, the game is absolutely getting better. If you don't believe it, go back and go all the way back to the year 2012. Go look at Smitty's channel. Go look at Azure Facts channel. Look at my channel. Look at the Sim Standard channel. And also other members who, were a part of the Sim Standard at the time. And shout outs to my man, Game Fanatic, because he made a video in reference to what I'm about to say a while back about, if you think that there's no changes being made by guys at the Sim Standard and others. He put together a video showing all the things that we've talked about. That's what I'm going to allude to. Think about everything that we have talked about since Madden 12. How many of those things have been put in the game? So in my opinion, I'm taking the biasness out of it. Just if I was just John Smith, Johnny Walmart football video game player, I have no connection to Madden or EA. I don't do a radio show. I don't do YouTube. If I'm just a simple guy and I'm looking at what's changed since then, there's no possible way I could say that the game is not improving. Now, how does the game replicate certain things? That's a different topic. That's a totally different topic. But like I said, man, on the video, and I'm going to say it here, for guys that don't even give a real valid opinion, I can't really take it, man. I can't take that as any weight to it. I can't really respect it because you have to give a valid opinion. I use myself in a situation. I used to talk so bad about Madden 11 because I didn't play it. I didn't buy it. And shout out to my boy NY Kia, man. NY Kia was one of the first guys who used to be like, you know what, man, some of the stuff that you complain about is actually in the game. I didn't know because I didn't play it. I played the demo and I said, oh, okay, I see some improvement, but I did not like Madden 11 at all. I hated the way they moved. I hated the locomotion. But I couldn't deny, oh, okay, that's a little better than Madden 09. So my point is, when you just look at the game and you automatically, it's trash, it's the same. I can't respect that because please show me where there a real DB and wideout interaction. Show me that Joe Hayden play in any other Madden. Hell, show it to me in any other football game.
Right.
Okay. Now, did his hand hit the ball? Didn't look like it. It didn't really look like his hand actually touched the ball, so we know there could be a ball tangibility issue. And shout out to guys like DJ81 who pointed that out as well. But my thing is when you look at that and that's your complaint, that lets me know that the game is coming along because all of these sports games have problems with that. One of our favorite games, people have that same problem. Go play NBA 2K15, and when you get a block, let me know if your hand hit that ball. 7 times out of 10, your hand ain't even touched the ball. So to say that, I feel you, but it's like, okay, that's your only argument, but you didn't see the interaction there, something that we've been asking for years upon years. And, I'm going to wrap it up, man, because I feel like I'm going too long, but my point is, I think we get overly critical with Madden because we're all thirsty for that next game. We all want that perfect game. But the one thing that we cannot lose sight of, and we have, and like 757 has said millions of times, one thing that you can say about us is we have not blown no smokes up your way. We haven't, told you any lies. We have told you exactly what is going on. We were some of the first ones to tell you, man, it's going to take some time, man. I regret to inform you that. Y'all remember when I said, hey, man, if Madden has been bad for 7 years, how long will it take for it to be great? And back then, people used to say, man, you're right, it might take them 7 years. Man, we might not get a great game until Madden 20. So what baffles me is if we all know that the game is rebuilding, not there yet, rebuilding, why are we so critical about every single aspect? What we should be doing, and we told you this when we first became Game Changers, let's hold these guys accountable for improving on a yearly basis. If they continue to do that, I have no beef with them. Now, what they choose to improve on, that's up to them as far as the ones who make the decisions. And I'll let Smitty run into the next topic so we can kind of tie them together. We'll talk about Jedi's video. But just to say real quick, like what he mentioned about blocking and things like that. Okay, even Clint Oldenburg has said himself, well, no, we haven't really done anything as far as actual blocking, since 25. We do a little tweaks here and tweaks there. So that's their choice, or that's their priority, what they choose to do outside of that. But the thing is, man, it seems like a lot of people, they judge the game based off of the one feature or area that they want to be improved. So if they don't do that, then the game is garbage. And I feel like you can't look at it like that because, of course, the trenches, I would say the trenches now needs to become more of a mini game type situation. Weight and mass and the player's relative position, all of that should be mattering on that front line. And right now, it's not a physical battle. It may be a little bit of physics in there, but physics does not dictate who wins and who loses. To me, that's the next phase. I need to have that in my football game. But because that wasn't done this year, that doesn't make me say, oh, well, the game sucks. How? How does it automatically suck when everything else, other aspects that we're asking for is being added? Of course, we have to wait and see how it's done. But my God, people, like I said, make a list. Make a list. Go back to 2012 and make a list of everything that we talked about and check off everything that's been implemented. That's just my point, man. Madden is where it is. That's the state of the game. They're not there yet. Rex said that himself. Not Sim, not Smitty, not Azor. The developers are telling you themselves, we're not happy. Rex said those words verbatim. We're not happy. Man, ain't no reason why we shouldn't be where FIFA's at or NHL. We should be a 90. Matter of fact, his actual words was that's not good enough, bro. Those were his exact words. So if the developers are telling you we're not there yet, why are you so angry? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, why are you so critical when the people building the game are telling you, we know, we agree, we ain't there yet? And that's all I'm saying. It's not defending them. It's the same thing with Damon calling tonight. I got to rock with Damon because he came on here and told us the truth. I rock with the Madden guys, not just because I'm a game changer, because they are telling the truth. That's why I did those interviews, for you guys to hear it yourself and not me telling you that. But hey, if you don't like it, if it ain't for you, don't pick it up. Don't support it. That's my best advice. Go ahead, Smitty, man. You know how we get, man. Sometimes we talk.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I will say this, and Azura makes this point every time we do the show. Well, not every time, but when we talk about this topic, you don't play Madden looking for 2K. I don't play 2K looking for Madden. When NBA Live and 2K basketball, when the 16 series of games come out, I'm playing 2K based off of what 2K did. I'm not playing 2K based off of what Live did, and vice versa. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of what Jedi was alluding to from what I took from it. So, of course, he gave his opinion. He said in his opinion, he felt that the blocking's not there or it doesn't replicate what happens in football. Now, he said himself in the video he dropped today that he didn't play Madden 15. He just looked at videos. And that's a problem. Like Sim said, if you don't play the game, I can't tell you how fast I can sit up here and tell you how fast a Maserati goes because I saw it in Car and Driver magazine. But I didn't drive it. How does the car feel? How does it feel when it turns and all that stuff? Oh, well, I saw it at the racetrack, so I could tell you because of what I saw. Okay, but can you tell me from what you actually did behind the wheel? Well, no, I can't tell you that. And see, that's the problem right there. Couple that with what's primarily, look, the sim football, I'm using the air quotes here, the sim football community breakdown standard is to showcase everything wrong in Madden and how everything's done right in 2K football. It's like, and looking at some videos right now, it's like people are priming themselves for the game to fail. Right now, they're not. It's like the optimism level is very minimal, but you're looking for everything wrong to happen in the game. And see, this is the thing right here. If we're going to use this logic on Madden, then we should be using this logic across the whole board. Don't sit up here. There's no point in saying how good NBA 2K looks. Oh no. Let's take the same approach that we do with Madden. Do it there. Showcase everything wrong. You see what I'm saying? And showcase everything right in very small doses. But we got to overload you and we got to overload and bombard everybody with everything that's wrong with the game and show you how fundamentally unsound the game is. Because basically, if we apply this same technique across the whole board with all these sports games, as far as how this community evaluates games, every game would suck. PES, FIFA, the show, NBA, any game, any genre. Tennis, it could be croquet, it could be whatever. It'll all suck because all that's focused on is what's wrong. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'll just say this because I don't want to be long with this point either. There were animations in APF that were pointed out where there were sequences that were pointed out. And now, one thing that has to be brought to the table here in principle in regards to 2K, if you ever pay attention to it, you can't audible your D-line. You never have been able to. Every time you went to the play call screen, what do you have to do? You got to pick how your D-line is going to attack. You can't say, I'm going to have my inside guys do a twist and pick it at the play call screen and then all of a sudden get to the line and say, you know what, I'm going to fan it out. You can't. All you've ever been able to do is shift your D-line to the left, right, spread it, and pinch. That's it. You can't drop your D lineman in the zone coverage. You can't do any of that unless you pick a particular play where somebody drops into coverage. Otherwise, you're stuck with what's given. And now just think about that for a sec. If a game is, all these games, you have win, loss, progressive win, progressive loss based on animation. Some of the sequences in particular that he pointed out in the video, it was already predetermined. It was determined on this particular play that the two O linemen are going to double team pass block him and drive him out of the way because it's already picked. Then you have another play where an animated sequence took effect, but it's being, and this is the other thing too. These animated sequences, some people tell stories behind some of these sequences. Oh, because of the inertia and the force of the O lineman, it carried him too far out of the way, so he missed on the block trying to cover on the double team, so the D lineman was able to get skinny and slip through into the backfield. No, look, that was an animated sequence that was triggered. And I ain't trying to be funny to my mans either. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I'm being serious about this. It was an animated sequence. It was a sequence already determined by the game. If the D lineman tries to disengage, we're going to allow him to have this animation take effect. So what happened was when the play played out, you saw the tackle latch on to the left side of the defender, and then you saw the guard. You saw that left guard all of a sudden scurrying around, trying to latch on real quick, so then that animation could kick off. And that's what happened. He scurried up right up there to the point of the animation, so then that way it could all take effect, and the D lineman could break free and shoot into the backfield. Same thing with this one other instance he pointed out too, where he said that the center got basically bull rushed over. And what he said was, it was because the center didn't have his feet underneath him because he was moving backwards. So that's why he got knocked over. No. It's because it's an animated sequence and it's rewarded to him because of that. The player's footwork does not matter. It didn't matter. That sequence is taking place. The defense was awarded. They're going to give him that animation. It didn't matter where his feet were, because when that animation takes place, his feet are going to shift, and then all of a sudden the animation takes place. That's how it goes. And it happens in Madden too. So I'm not saying APF messed up. Like, no, this is how it is. It happens in NBA 2K15. So this is current. This is not past. So this currently happens right now in 2K's product. So, and it happens in Madden and Live and FIFA and PES. It happens with all these games to an extent. But this is the point. Making a storyboard for what the game actually is doing the truth is, this is what the animation is. This animation was chosen, and this is what's going to happen on that play. And in terms of Madden, Can the blocking look like a wall at times? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I'm not going to second guess that and be like, no, it doesn't. It does everything right. Just like on Sundays at all times. No, this is a point I made back at the draft. I said you're going to see plays, you're going to see things happen in this game that get called out in Madden as if it doesn't happen, but it actually does. And it does. You have O-linemen that'll push a D lineman back and then gain their ground and get re-engaged with them again. And then they'll be wrestling with each other. You see D linemen get driven around toward the outside and steered out of the way of the quarterback. You see two-man double-team pass blocking interactions where you have the O-lineman engaged with them, and then you got the second O-lineman come up and lay the shoulder into the D lineman, and he goes down. You have D linemen that'll try to spin, and the tackle or whatever, or guard center or whatever, the D lineman will try to spin, and halfway through their spin, they'll get driven down to the ground. It happens in Madden. It happens. But that goes back to my point in terms of what basically goes down in this community. Everything is flawed in Madden. So you think stuff like that's going to get the spotlight? Very rarely it will. But for the most part, flaws and issues are going to take the center stage. See what I'm saying? Just like I said, just like in a discussion I did with Virtual Footballer, and my man Kid made this point, and I'll end it with this. He said himself, he did a video straight up breaking down Madden off of some legitimate football happenings, and it barely got any views. As soon as he did a video talking about how messed up Madden is, he got mad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is how the community is. I know he said he's new to the community, he's not really hip on everything, but this is how it is. So what you said, there's nothing wrong with your viewpoint, and I completely respect it, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. But
yeah, not at all.
It's just that there are things that happen in real life that we see happen in Madden, and that never gets shined at all. And people are worried about Odell, like he said himself. He wished they didn't focus on Odell Beckham catches. Okay, if you look at the catches, how many times have we seen Odell Beckham's one-handed catch? How many times? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, of all the people that you would look at in terms of video content you would least expect it from, QJB has a video where he went for a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone, and that sucker popped right off his hand because he had the defense covering him when he tried to make the catch. And he even tried to corner catch it like 2 or 3 other times, and they were both incomplete. One was because Calvin didn't come down in bounds. The second one was because he had defensive coverage on him. 2 dudes was on him, and he tried to catch it. Them boys broke it up. And see, this is the thing. This is the thing. I'm not seeing many. I mean, you are seeing more positives being spoken of this game, but at the same time, people that mainly create content, I don't hear anybody talking about, hey, look, that receiver got good positioning. They just talking about, I can't believe he's going up, and here we go. We're just gonna have a bunch of one-handed catches. Like, hold on. So we're not gonna bother to look at the fact that. And so, who was it you threw the pass to? Was it Antonio Brown when you were playing? And you had the catches, I think, Sim.
What, the catches or the punch out?
No, the catch. No, not the punch out one. The one you had caught it against the defender, where you had the inside. You was inside. You was to the outside of the defender, but you had the legit positioning on the jump ball, and you caught it.
Oh no, that was big boy. That was Martavis Bryant.
Oh, okay.
6'4".
All right. So, see, that's another thing too. If he has the size advantage and he has the position advantage and he gets the pass out there, what do you think's supposed to happen? Oh, the DB is supposed to just make a play? No, the likelihood of him making a play is not going to be. It's going to be low. And the receiver's going to come down with it. See what I'm saying? So this is something you got to get your hands on and at least demo. And this is why I've been saying it for months. If the game doesn't do what you want it to do, leave the game on the shelf. Don't play it. There's no point in spending all year talking about it, especially when you had Rex. Rex is the creative director. He's up there with Cam and those guys to an extent. He's rubbing shoulders up there with this game here, okay? If he's telling you that it's going to take time, that's just it. So you can say that, man, they never going to be there. Okay, well, he told you that it wasn't going to be there. It wasn't going to have everything right there. And I'm glad to hear them say that, because that's what we've been trying to say for the longest. And these guys are telling you what we usually have been discussing since we've been going down there for the past few years. So, and one other thing too. I know people talk about how Madden, you can drop back the pass and just throw off the back foot and hit receivers in stride, because he made an example out of one of the plays in your video, Sim, from E3. You can do the same thing in APF. And I got footage to support that point. So if it could be done in APF and it's happening in Madden, so what do we do now? Do we not play anything because it happens in Madden? See, this is what I'm saying. When we point out everything good in 2K, but we point out next to nothing that's wrong with it, this is what happens. This game does everything right. Madden don't ever. No. I literally am dropping. I got dropbacks where I'm dropping back 15, 20 yards, and I'm chucking it up field 30 and hitting my receiver in stride for 6. Now, it's a problem. Don't get me wrong. It is a problem in Madden. You shouldn't be able to do it, but you can do it in APF. Even though they have at times that drawn out animation that they make play out before you to release the ball, which is cool, but it's not cool because you lose control with that. But I could still release the ball without having to do all that extra animation. I could drop back 15, 20 yards and then on a whim, jam the stick forward, hit the receiver button, and boom, it's in the air right on target. Over defense and everything. So it happens in both games. See, all these dudes could do is, like Sim said, work on the game and keep on refining it, as Clint and Rex have said. They're saying it at E3, the biggest stage possible, letting you know, guys, it ain't there yet. We know we got more work to do. So take it however you want to take it, but it's the game once again. I've been saying it for months now. Say it again and end it here. If the game does not have what you're looking for, leave the game on the shelf, please. Just leave it on the shelf. And play whatever game pleases you and have yourself a great day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry. One more example I wanted to lay out. One more example. I'm sorry. This is in video games. This is football. Yeah. Calais Campbell. I may be saying his first name wrong. Defensive end. I was watching NFL Total Access last night.
Yeah,
I seen him literally do a move that's in Madden. He locked up with the O-lineman, like what my man Jedi said, doesn't happen in football. He said that's not football. He said that. It happens. He locked up, and he literally is just wrestling with him. He's not hand fighting. He ain't spinning and clubbing and ripping and underhooking. No. He's literally just wrestling with the guy the whole way. They're just locked up, holding on to each other, and you see that struggle. And then he just moves them out of the way and shoots in the backfield for a tackle. It happens in football. It happens in Madden. You can say it doesn't. It does. If you play Madden, go in the instant replay and see it. It happens. But no one's saying the game is there yet. No one's saying that it's there. I'm not saying that Sim isn't, nor would Azura. We're not saying it's there. But I'm saying, though, call a spade a spade. I have no problem bringing up football where I could bring it up and say, well, according to football in the NFL, in real life, this actually happens in Madden. So you don't have to like what EA does, but the bottom line is it happens. So what are we going to do about it? Just not play? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then so be it. Just don't play the game. But these things are happening, and the game is getting better. It's getting more and more undeniable every year. And people are going to find out once they actually get the chance to play the game here, once it comes out. I'm not saying everybody's going to be cool with it, but you're going to have some people that maybe they might just be pleasantly surprised with what they got, what they did this year. So we'll see. I'll end it at that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry
man.
about that.
And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say something real quick in just a moment. But what I think I want to do, since we have 6 calls in queue, 44 minutes left, we're gonna take the calls, get you guys in and out. And we only had that one other topic, and we'll come back and touch up on the name change if we have time. And also, a question came from DSK on Twitter. He wanted to know, wanted us to discuss, when they will actually get modern defenses and defensive playbooks and things like that. And we'll try to come back and touch on that. But they actually, from what we've been told, speaking to the playbook guy, they pretty much have the true to life defenses in the game. There may be some wrinkles that aren't there, but we'll definitely try to address that if we have time. But the only thing I was going to say here before we grab the calls, guys, this is my position. I probably can almost guarantee Smitty and Azul will agree. Going forward, it's about what do these games do in terms of football. When I look at 2K, I go back and play it. I was like, man, that looks like real football right there. But don't get it twisted. 2K8 has a ton of flaws. I have a video on my channel that some remember where I showed you the exact same flaws that Madden has now was in that game. Yeah, that's a time difference. I know that. I'm just saying, I'm not about that no more. What I'm about now is getting the best football game. When Joe Montana comes out, I'm going to look at where's the football in the game. Point out the flaws, but I'm not going to spend my time comparing it to 2K and to Madden. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not comparing Madden to. It's pointless. 2K and EA are 2 different companies. All I want to do is see Madden produce football and address the flaws that they have with the developers, telling them this ain't right, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be added in the game. That's it. So if you're expecting that kind of content from me, it's not going to happen. Understand why. We're in a different position now. Like I said in the video, guys, we have the ear. To me, I don't see the relevancy or the point of me showing an extreme, like doing an extreme video on a flaw. Of course, I'm going to still make my video and be like, I don't like that. Y'all know how I do. Damn near every video I make, even when I'm showing a positive, I'm stating something like, I still don't like that. But I'm talking about just going in and for what? When I could call Clint and be like, hey man, we got to talk. Hit me back. You see what I'm saying? I'm not doing that no more. I'm not comparing companies. I'm just looking for football. And I'm going to show you where there's great football and where there's lack of football. That's it. Plain and simple. That's how SimFBallCritic is going forward, because that's the time that we're in. That's going to be the most effective for us, for the devs with Madden, for Damon and the Joe Montana guys. That's where the effectiveness is going to come in at. All that comparing and that makes is who cares? Because regardless if you compare them, the company is not going to just say, oh, let's switch up and do it that way. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just not going to do that no more. I mean, you guys can do that, but I'm just not. So I just want you guys to know the position that I'm taking. All right, man, let's get to the callers. We have 6 in the queue. We have 803, who was the first guy that came in and checked the line for me, so we're going to grab him first. After that, it looks like we have 501, 205, 337, 253, and then 267. And guys, keep in mind again with the time. I know that's almost like an oxymoron, because me and Smitty don't seem to never stay within time. But if I could just ask you guys to keep it short, we'll keep it as short as we can on the replies so we can get everybody in. All right, let's go ahead and get it started. And then, of course, let me say this: if 757 comes in, we'll bring him in. I'm not sure if he got caught on the wrong number or what have you. But all right, 803, man, we got you back in. Go ahead and speak on what you had for us earlier.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to talk a little more about the trenches. I called last week and I made the comment about wanting to see it be a little more of a mini game. I think Azul was saying, it might not have been the right term, but he was right. I was talking about the game within the game. And I really like what they're doing in the trenches. I think it's, the best is bench. And I just, would like to see him continue to flesh it out and give us more control over it. He asked for some input on maybe what I'd like to see. And I think, I've seen this floating around in the community before, but, I'd like to see some of the controls on the right stick as well. They can still leave it on the face button. You can still have a power move and a finesse move on the face button. But then you can, if you want to get into more advanced moves, maybe you can put them on the right stick and make them more intuitive. Where you might want to start doing combination moves like a bull rush, partner with the hump move, and start to make it a little more of a chess match. And so I just would like to see them continue to develop it. I really like where they have it now. I'm not a big fan of the icons popping up, but all in all, it does help you with the timing because before when you weren't successful, you didn't know if you just were getting beat or you weren't timing it right. So that does at least give you an idea of what they're looking for with timing. But I was never a big fan of the icons, but it's not awful. But I just like to see more of the advanced moves, just to have a little bit more control of them, and to see it become more of a chess match and a little game within the game. Right down there in the trenches, because like I said, they got a really good foundation started with the trenches, especially with the edge rushing and forming the pocket and things of that nature. And I just like to see them continue, to advance it. One other thing I wanted to mention, we often, talk about the things that, we want to see done, but I think we also need to tell them, what we really like. And it got a lot of praise when last year's Madden hit, but I don't hear as much talk about it now. But I really like the new defensive cam. And I like to see them continue to add more options along those lines. That just added a ton of gameplay depth to me that I didn't even expect. Just with it being a little harder to tackle and how the camera rotates depending on which guy you switch to. Just because of that one addition, I felt, like the offense, because the CPU offense has had me back on my heels as a defense. Frank Gore, man, once he hits that hole and you're scrambling around trying to get him, it just gives you that feeling of, trying to stop him. But it doesn't feel cheap. Usually I have to jack the sliders up and, it kind of feels cheap once I get the CPU, I'm talking about in years past, get a good game going against you. But just by changing that camera, I feel like I'm back on my heels sometimes, man. The computer will move the ball on me and punch it in. And I felt like out of sorts the whole drive, trying to keep up. And just little stuff like that they're adding, man. For me, anyway, adds a lot of depth to the gameplay. And that's one thing. I'm like you guys. I like to play in the trenches on defense. But occasionally I'll take a DB. But like I say, it's not a given when you're out there playing DB, but it feels natural when you get burnt. You say, yeah, I got burnt. And it just makes the game a little more of a challenge. So, like I always say, these guys are really doing it. We, like you guys said earlier, we as a community, we pretty much got what we've been asking for all these years. You can go back in OS and look at some of the stuff they were asking for and bash EA about, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And you look at it now, we getting it. So I don't see why people still got their up in arms, with EA. This team they got now. It seems like we're on the same page with them, and it's time to let the past be the past and just try to get the best, input to.
Oh yeah, something happened with the phone line there. Smitty, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. 803. I'm not sure what happened. It was like a noise and it kind of kicked you out. But real quick, yeah. I agree with I would like to see some type of mini game. I'm sure Azure and 757 will agree with you with the right stick control. We would like to see the left stick be the legs, right stick maybe be the arms, so then it's more of a fight. And like I said, make the physics matter in the trenches. And then also, definitely we need to point out the things that are done well as well. It's very important to feedback because unless they know things are done well, some stuff could disappear if they don't feel like people like it. So that's why you have to also give positive feedback as well as your critical feedback. So real quick, Smitty, you got anything before we go to the next caller?
Yeah, well, I agree with all the points he made there, but I know that we haven't really talked about it at all. But the NBA draft is going on tonight, and I'm shocked. I know New York Knicks fans are upset. They picked some international guy with their fourth pick, and the Lakers, surprisingly, they went point guard. They must really have a lot of faith in Julius Randle, or unless they got some moves coming up or some free agent pieces they expect to get this summer. But I just wanted to spotlight that. At least them, you came away with Jahlil Okafor, so that's what's up.
Yeah, man. But as a Sixer fan, I speak for us all. We just don't have success with them big boys, man. So I'm hope maybe he'll break the trend. It seems like all we want to do is get big guys that are injured, not him, but in the past, and trade away all the best point guards. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe Okafor will solidify it. And hopefully, man. I've waited long enough here as a Sixer fan, but let's move on to the next caller. We got area code 501. This may be JP Davis. Is that who it is?
Yes, sir. What's going on, y'all?
Man?
Not much. Just watching the draft myself. So, yeah. I was going to say is that before E3, I had put this out there on OS because I felt like a lot of people were disappointed this year with the news for CFM and how there wasn't a lot of new improvements and things like that. And what I said was, the thread I made was, if the gameplay is good enough, do you feel like that could make up for what's lacking in CFM? And I would say the majority of the people do feel like the gameplay that they've seen in E3 has done enough in their mind to make up for what they didn't see in CFM. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but I also kind of want to address the misconception I feel like people have, at least on OS, about CFM going more towards a casual crowd because of the dynamic drive goals and things like that. Just if you guys can kind of touch on your initial impressions with Colby and John White and what you've seen and where you guys feel like CFM is going to go in the future.
Well,
Chief Assistant Officer of the State Farm.
I'm sorry.
No, I got a video just cut on.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. My video cut on my phone.
Okay.
I don't know why. Sorry, guys.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. No, what I was just gonna say real quick was that, you gotta make. No one is gonna make a mode that's gonna be so true to just one crowd that it's just gonna alienate others. Otherwise, people won't play it. And then, you see what I'm saying? So then you're talking about going back to the drawing board. That's why you have niche titles out here like Out of the Park Baseball and stuff like that, NFL head coaches and stuff. If you want to play games that are that in-depth, then those are the games you need to play. Because you're talking about something in a video game format, it has to be accessible. So having the XP and all that stuff going on, see, what's primarily happening right now is people are reacting to what they have not had to play yet. They haven't had a chance to play it. So until you get your hands on it and actually experience it firsthand, it's going to be hard to truly say, oh man, this is all it is and that's all it's going to be and everything. No. And at the same time, this primary community, we said that we made a complaint about not, much gets all this attention and it gets all this love, but CFM doesn't. Well, look at that interface. Isn't that from Ultimate Team? And it's getting that love that CFM loves. So, you see what I'm saying? So, if anything, I would look for more, greater things in the future to see. I think they're positioning, and just to get to the point so I can get to Sim, I think they're positioning this game to get to make a big time upgrade. When it comes to these games, you got to build the game up so that it can get to a certain point, and then you can take that huge leap. And I think this is what they did this year. It seems like they didn't do anything, but at the same time, they did do some things that were necessary. So I think it'll only go up from there.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. I would just say this real quick to you guys. Kobe Launchball, if I'm saying his last name correctly. And Kobe, I know you might hear this. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. But that's the guy that Shop interviewed about CFM. Kobe is from MLB The Show. Kobe, for the last year and a half, worked on Ultimate Team. So for you Mutt guys, all of the good bells and whistles and good stuff, chemistry and all that, that was Kobe. Kobe has taken over CFM. He still works with Josh Lumen. And another guy that you guys don't know, John White, great guy. The scouting and all that kind of stuff that's coming, yeah. All I would say is just stay tuned, man. Kobe has told us stuff that he wants to do. I'm like, what? I'll give you one little, this is not a nugget, but I'll give you an idea of what type of mad scientist he is. We started talking about hot and cold streaks. Smitty remembers this. Kobe said, I don't like them. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. I can't tell you much more than that, but he went into telling us why he doesn't necessarily like the hot and cold streaks and what he wants to do. I was like, okay. MLB The Show, here we go. So I think it's definitely going upward. You're going to see a lot of changes in that aspect. And let me say this real quick, too, before we grab 205. You guys know by now, and, he said it himself, JP has actually been able to see and play Madden. You guys know JP Davis. You know the things that JP didn't like. You know JP is very objective. JP doesn't hold back. He says what he likes, what he doesn't like. Why don't you talk to him and listen to what he tells you about how he currently feels about Madden 16. He has no reason to be biased. Listen to what a guy like that has to say about it, and that might give you a real indication of where they're going. If you don't want to listen to us, listen to a guy that has nothing to do with EA Sports. That's just be my advice. But all right, let's go ahead and grab 205. After that, we have 337, and then we have 253 and 267. So 205, Alabama, we got you in on the line, man. What's going on tonight?
Not much. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
We're doing good, man.
Just sitting here watching a replay of last year's SEC championship game. Just to kind of touch on what y'all was touching on with Madden. My biggest issue is with this community talking, I guess, about the whole everything's going to be Rocket Catch City this year and all this. And my biggest thing is I've never been big on trailers. Y'all know that. I've never took anything into a trailer. My biggest thing is got to get my hands on and play with it and see what it's like, and see if, if a demo comes out, try it out, try it out at GameStop before I buy it or whatever like that. My biggest thing is like when you're a defensive back, when I'm actually watching real football, you don't see defensive backs always right there on receivers. They're always having to either try to play the ball sometimes, but most of the time they're playing the wide receiver because they're not really tracking the ball up until they see the wide receiver go to turn for the ball or something like that. Most of the time they're playing the wide receiver so they don't lose him. And a lot of times I feel like this community doesn't understand that defensive backs have a lot on their plate. And that's why I feel like in this Madden, if you go after the ball, from what I've seen, you may be in trouble. I think you're going to have to play the receiver more, kind of calm, use the tools they give you to knock the ball out, and you're going to have a more of a skill-based mindset of how to play the wide receiver and not get lost as much. Because if the penalties are working like they say they are, and pass interference is on, then people is not going to be able to literally hold you down the field like they used to do back at Madden, where they'd put a defensive back and then they would slowly kind of like keep you chunked out the way. That should get called for a penalty every single time because you're pass interfering all the way down the middle of the field. You only have 5 yards to use. So I think it's going to be more of a chess match. And these one-handed catches, I haven't seen a lot of people making all of them. If it was overpowered, you would see it at least 75% of the time them catching the ball. From what I've seen, it's more of, you have to have that guy that's got a spectacular catch to pull it off. And not too many receivers in the league outside of, Megatron, Dez, and, a few other guys have that ability. So I shouldn't be seeing a whole bunch of receivers just going down there catching every ball with spectacular catch. Also, I want the trenches to be good, but also to touch on what Rex was saying, and I know, Sim, you had this interview, the handoff system is supposed to be better, and they slowed down the gameplay, so it kind of fits more of a, how we like it as Sim guys, how it slowed down for us. And
215, you still there?
I'll let y'all go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, you went out for a minute. Well, were you done, or it was the last little piece that we missed?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I was saying the handoff system. I was talking about with Rex and the whole slowing down of not the gameplay, but the slowing down of how it moves and everything. I know you had that interview with him, Sim, and I was just wanting to know if y'all could kind of touch on that, because I liked how when we slow it down, like if we turn it down to slow instead of fast, always moving. I just kind of wanted y'all to touch on the little handoff system and stuff like that.
All right, well, definitely 205. We appreciate that. The first part of what you said, we fully agree with all that. Just try it out. If you don't have the ability to try it out, like we have the game a little early. Y'all know that. I'm on the stream when I have the ability to, and I will show you the game in its full splendor. See it as much as you can. Play the demo if there's a demo. Rent it, whatever. Play it for yourself, then decide. That's always our advice. The handoff system is, I'll say my piece real quick and let Smitty chime in on anything. It's basically what they did is they captured it all in one sequence. It's no longer two animations synced together. What you won't see anymore is the pop. Like when you go on a replay and it looks like the ball and the quarterback kind of jumps and then it goes to the running back or whatever. That won't happen anymore because they mocap the whole handoff all into one. That's why it looks a lot smoother. And also they did slow down the gameplay a little bit to where, when you notice with those handoffs now, you can see the hole open up and the running lanes and all of that. So that's what they did. The gameplay itself definitely feels a little slower than Madden 15. And it still feels fast enough, but I think it's at a real nice pace where it's not too fast, it's not too slow. And like I said, with the new handoffs and things like that, it's going to feel more, organic when you're trying to read the holes and, where you need to go as far as the running game. Got anything to add to that, Smitty, real quick?
No, not really. So everything, yeah. I mean, I agree with everything that was said, and yeah, you spoke about it already. You spoke about it before, how it plays out and everything. So yeah, I don't have nothing to add on.
All right. So like always, we appreciate your call. Just a time check. We're at 21 minutes with 3 calls left. So you guys know the routine. Let's go ahead and get 337 in. Appreciate you calling, man. What you got for us tonight?
Hey, Ray X Live here, also known as Ray's Gaming Universe. How y'all doing tonight?
We good,
Hey,
man.
what's going on, man?
All right. First of all, I want to say I'm not knocking the aggressive catch, but what I want to see in the future, if it's not going to be in Madden 16, is that it's okay for the receiver to make the catch, but hitting the ground and also having a defender trying to knock it out your hand, not all the time they complete the catch doing these things in real life. I mean, even Megatron, when he that pass with 4 defenders or 5 defenders in the end zone, that's only going to happen like once, a season, if any, So what I want to see is, they can make the catch, but come down with it, like in the future, like the ground can cause the ball to come out or not have it, like Dez Bryant in that one play where in the playoffs where he had it and he tried to make a move and he still hit the ground and he lost it and it popped up and all that stuff. That was crazy. But the whole fact is that he had it, but when he hit the ground, he lost it. And that's usually what happens a lot of times with these aggressive catches. And it's not completed like 7 out of 10 times in real life, even if the greatest catches are like that. And what I really want you guys to answer is Rex said that during the game tackles that there was two types of tackles. One was an animation tackle and one was an organic tackle or physics tackle. I want you guys to just elaborate what he means by animation tackle and how does that play in or affect or not be the same as organic tackle or physics tackle. And I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be listening.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your call. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. Which in the beginning, what you said, I think that's the next phase. Like you said, let the ground be able to cause it, and you guys will see some more animations. There's a lot of animations, and Smitty will agree that y'all haven't seen. I mean, like animations where the DB is ripping the ball from the receiver once they hit the ground. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that goes on with the interactions. But last part real quick, so we can move on. What he basically is talking about is a technology that they have. Basically, they were able to mocap some gang tackle situations, and then when that happens, that people can still attach to that animation. So it will appear, like Rex said, it still will look very organic to us because the guy who comes in that's not a part of that mocap can affect the pile. He can make the pile, fall one way or fall the other way or knock someone off or what have you. So it turns into an organic situation. So basically what he's saying is you might see a gang tackle where it's two men on one guy, that was scripted as far as what they mocap, but then you still have the ability for other people to come in and affect that pile. Versus other times, it's strictly organic tackles where basically the physics are playing out on the player's weight or mass or whatever. I can't remember if he said the mass, but I know it would be like their momentum and their speed. And I believe weight factors in there somewhere. But you're going to see a lot of organic tackles, a lot of animations that you guys have never seen before. And there's a combination of fully organic and scripted. But Smitty can agree with me. We couldn't tell the difference. Even when we were there way back in February, we had to literally say, hey, man, was that a scripted one or organic one? So it doesn't affect the gameplay as far as the look and feel. It's still going to feel very organic because any tackle can turn into an organic situation. But yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell right there. So I don't have anything to add on to that. He explained it, so that's basically it. It'll look like it's going to rear its head. When it's scripted, at times I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But you will have plays where you'll be like, dang, that was a mean canned animation. And then, it'll possibly be straight up a physics-based instance. So you'll see that they're getting there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think people will definitely see where they're trying to go. All right, so it looks like we have two more callers. We're at 16 minutes. The next caller up is our good buddy, Nef1. So let's go ahead and get him in. What's going on tonight, man?
What's up, y'all? I'm just going to look at it from a different perspective tonight. Since I've been playing around with the Madden rosters on 15, I noticed that different things do happen during a game. And I don't really care what EA does or anybody who makes a game. People are never going to be satisfied. I mean, without Madden, there wouldn't be YouTube videos, so they have to find something to do, I guess. But the thing that I look at is, since I've been messing with the rosters, and Sim, you know this because I sent it to you, it's brought out some different outcomes. So I know the ratings have a lot to do with the outcome of the play. And I was just on Twitter, and I said that ratings is the backbone to gameplay. And a lot of these guys, they just put in the stock rosters the way they're rated, and I hate to say most of them are kind of globally rated. And they get the same results every single time. I don't know, Sim, if you played much of the roster I sent you, but I broadcasted it, and people were pretty interested in, some of the outcomes, and I really took the fatigue and made it a factor. Little things you could do to improve a game. And people are going to say, why should we have to improve it? It should come out of the box like that. But it never will. care what kind of game it is. That's why they give you those options, because everybody's different. Playing the show, I love that game, but it has its issues too. And I pretty much leave the sliders alone. But in Madden, since I put the sliders towards the rating, it's made a big difference. It really has. And now I'm getting more into it. And you know how I break things down. I go surgical on it. I start looking for any little thing I can to make an advantage or a better gameplay result. So, to add to your point, Sim, earlier about people comparing, I've always said that. I think we've had conversations on the phone where, why does people compare one game to the next? It doesn't make any sense, because it's different companies, different people, different technology. You can't have the same game at all. Everybody says, I just want a sim game. You'll have one eventually, but you're not going to get one because you want one. It's going to take time. And being that I work with engineers, I know it's not going to happen overnight. I'm pretty realistic on that. Most of these guys are just battered and beaten and tore up. They just can't take it no more. But you got options. You got other games out there. So the thing is, if you actually go into the game and look at it on a positive perspective, you might find something that you like about it. I'm not saying everybody will. And honestly, that's why I don't pay attention to half the YouTube videos anymore, because it's just the same old, let me show you what happened wrong on this play. Let me show you what happened wrong on that. How come this is happening? How come they can't correct it? That is the most biggest line of crap that I find on YouTube with almost every video. To me, like Smitty said too, if you don't like the game, don't buy it. You don't have to buy it. Why are you going to show us what you don't like about a game? Until you buy a luxury car, you don't know what it drives like. You can't just say, well, I think it's going to drive good, but you never actually drove it. You have to actually get in and drive it and mess with the features and all that. That's why I got off YouTube so much, because I got tired of the same old crap everybody was throwing at each other. So that's just my points. I'm just kind of working on my roster right now, and I started seeing different things that I didn't see before. I'm not saying the game is perfect, because God knows it ain't. But if you actually go through the game and kind of look at what you could do to make it better for yourself, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. Let me ask you guys, the last time you were at GameStop or wherever you buy your games from, did you break out your wallet and say, hold on, let me call YouTube and see if this is worth it? I don't think you guys ever did that. So why am I worried about what people think, when I say I want to play Madden, oh, go ahead and get the MUT, or, oh, you're a Maddenite. No, I just play what I like. And I'm a man of my own thoughts. I don't need 50 fucking people to follow me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but I don't need 50,000 people to follow me to make me feel better about myself. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But Sam, I got some more stuff for you. Just hang on in there for this weekend. I'm out, man.
Man, well, we always appreciate your call. It's funny because Azure likes to call you, NY Kia, and 757 the triplet. Because you guys always seem to be like, y'all bring a different perspective. But yeah, when with that kind of stuff, there's nothing left for us to say. He said it all. There's nothing left for us to say. In regards to the roster, I may stream tonight, guys. After the show, I'll go check what see my little man is doing, what the wife is doing. But I think I might come back down once they're situated, and I'll stream that roster. Play a game or two just so you guys can kind of see what he did. Maybe show you a little bit of the ratings. I'll check with him. I don't know if he wants me to show that off yet. But we've always said that. Even when we play with the FBG roster, it definitely changes the gameplay. Now, the game is a game. Like he says, it's not perfect. The things that are not in the game are still not going to be in the game. The thing that the game does bad, they're still going to do bad. But you see different results. And, we all can agree kind of how we felt about Madden's global ratings. They're not the best. So when you switch up the ratings, you definitely see different results. But Smitty, you got anything on that before we grab the last call?
You need to hit me up with them rosters, bruh. You know what I'm saying? He let a brother know about that there. But no, that's cool though. No, but yeah, you're completely right though. You're completely right. That's what I'm saying. There really isn't anything to add on that. So we can take the next call.
All right, man. Looks like the last call of the night. We're at 10 minutes, so looks like we might still have a little time to talk about that name change situation. But let's grab the last call. Area 267, man. We got you on. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. It's been a long time since I called in. What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Is this Philly Chew? Sound like Philly Chew.
Yeah, it is Philly Chew.
Yeah, what's good, man?
Tim, I'm with you. I'm upset about the Sixers draft thing, man. Like, I'm so tired of picking big men, but we on a Madden show, so we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
That's a whole show right there.
It's a whole show. Two things that, and I want to say is that one thing is like I said, and I've said this many times, I've never seen so many people give so much attention to something they claim not to like. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's the craziest thing I've ever seen, like, grown men do. Like, I don't eat eggs. You know what I mean? Like scrambled eggs, haven't liked them since I was a kid. I don't go and, like, make videos about it. I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't tell other people not to do it. I'm just like, look, that's not what I like. I don't do it. And I just, you know, you see these videos of people, I hate it, but they buy it every year and they make videos, which means you're contributing to the problem that you're complaining about. You know what I mean? Like, so they're selling millions of copies because hundreds of you or thousands of YouTube people go out and buy the game, you know, they claim not to like so they can make YouTube videos. It's the craziest thing to me. You know, like, it's a crazy thing to me. The other thing, and I know this is probably not in 16, but if you guys, you know, like, as you start, like you said last week, you start to look at what can be for 17. One thing that I was thinking of that would be pretty cool is if we could get, and I think somebody brought this up, like, more awareness on the defensive line so that, you know, like, we can get like a difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4 where those D tackles and D ends in the 3-4 are playing like two gaps, and they could be more aware of, like, flow to the ball a little better so that there's a little more distinction between, you know, like a 3-4 team and a 4-3 team. You know, and that's one of that's one of the little cherries on top type of things. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think the game has gotten better every year. I thought 25 on next gen played better than they did on old. You know what I mean? You could see where the trenches and the true step and all those type of things that they talked about. Some of them aren't where they said they would be, but they've improved. 15 was definitely better than 25, and I just can't wait for 16. I already reserved my copy. I'm ready to go. It's already paid for. First day, I'm ready to go.
Oh, man. Well, you know, we definitely appreciate you calling, man. I definitely want to hit on what you just said just a bit, and then Smitty can as well, and then we should have a little time left for the name change. Man, listen, and I know, you know, I've said this, you know, not only the techniques, I just want these guys to be looking for the ball. And I think I said that on last week's show. You know, if you look at, just like the Calais Campbell situation, like Smitty just brought up, we both saw that yesterday. You know, he hits the point of contact and his eyes is on a swivel. He's looking at the ball. So he knows which way to throw this offensive lineman or attempt to throw him so he can pursue the ball. Dominican Sue, all of these guys do that. That's how a D lineman plays football. That's currently not in Madden. You know, there's some awareness, but it's not to that degree. And I don't think Rex would even be upset with me saying this because y'all know by now, Rex says what he wants to say. He tells you the truth. Rex told me one time, well, you know, the real problem is we don't really have, you know, the game is not to the point where these guys are actually playing a technique. You know, they don't play the A gap and the C gap, you know. They don't have those and I was like, yeah, you're right. We need that. So I say that just so y'all can hear that. They know that. It's not in there, but they definitely know these types of things. So trust me when I tell you, everything that we talk about, these guys then talked about it. It's just a matter of putting it in the game or getting it to a point where they can do that. But I'm with you on that one, Philly. I want to push that for 17. Definitely. Because I think we're getting to that point now, going back to what my man said earlier, now we can start making the trenches, you know, more of a little mini game now that we got it. You know, like Clint even said, you know, we haven't really touched it as a feature since 25. I want to see them revisit that now. You know, now let's do a little more with the trenches because I think you're getting the blocking kind of where you want it. But now let's create that battle in the trenches so it can be a real battle. Got anything on that real quick, Smitty?
No, I mean, yeah, there are things that, look, like Sim said, like you say all the time, we know what's coming. You know, now you don't have to trust us. You don't have to pay attention to anything that we say. I want you to object, but one thing I'm striving for is for people to be more objective in terms of what is happening with these games versus being, all this subjectivity and emotional-based decision-making without actually having something to grab onto. You know what I'm saying? Which basically what happened with this whole Montana thing. Like, I would love for that to happen because that way we have a lot more open-minded gaming going on. And even if your optimism level is high or low, still, have some kind of level of anticipation based upon what these guys are doing. Because what's going on out here is just people are comparing the nearly 4 years of work these guys have done thus far to a game that's been coming out, to a team that put together a game in 2K that put together, that's like 8-9 years worth of work. As a consistent core dev team, like the core of that team is 8 to 9 years old versus a team where the core is 4 years old. Well, will be 4 years old. So it's not a true legit comparison to do that. So that's why I'm saying, take this game for what it is. If you like it, cool. If you don't, leave it on the shelf. That's simple. But there's more in store. So there's more in store.
Yeah, they got a lot of plans, man. And I don't think we've said that you guys wrong yet. We told you there was going to be some stuff at 16 that we've been asking for. Y'all see it's here. And there's so much more to come, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And like Smitty said, man, I really want Montana to, ruffle some feathers, so to speak. So maybe those things can happen a little sooner. But real quick, man, we got 3 minutes and 20 seconds. One of our viewers or subscribers, whatever you want to call them, I'll say one of our compadres. We're all equal in the community. He feels like they should change the name, and I'm going to be very, very brief because we don't have a lot of time. I don't see it happening. And the opinion I gave to him is you have to look at it from a business standpoint. Why would EA Sports or the NFL decide that they need to take Madden's name off the game? What's the reason? I would imagine at a boardroom, I don't think that topic comes up because there's no evidence showing that the name needs to be changed. Plus, it is a household name. Everybody knows Madden. Your wife knows Madden. Your girlfriend knows Madden. Girls tweet about Madden when they like, here comes Madden, man. I know my man going to be married to his other wife tonight. So changing the name does nothing for them. And I understand his point, but you got to remember, that's your opinion. You want it to be changed because you want them to focus on quote-unquote football. They don't have to change the name to do that. Madden is the brand, just like Mercedes-Benz. It's a Benz. And the analogy I gave, like the BMW, everybody knows their slogan is the ultimate driving machine. Do you think more people recognize BMW? Or would they recognize if they took the name off and they just called it the ultimate driving machine? Ain't gonna happen, man. I don't see the benefit. If I'm the business owner, I don't see why I need to take the name off when it's been in people's homes for 20 plus years. But go ahead, Smitty. You got a minute, 30 seconds.
No, that's true. Just like I had said on Twitter, the other day, you don't see Chevy taking the name off Camaro anytime soon just because they redesign it or remodel it. You don't see Dodge taking the name off the Charger or Ford taking the name off the Mustang. Like, it's going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not changing the names of those, you think Madden's name's about to come off this franchise and it's a pop culture icon like that? Nah, that ain't going to happen. So I understand my man's point, but it's not going to happen. Too far.
Nah. It ain't going to happen. Think about it. The name, just Madden, has become more popular than when it was John Madden Football. By them changing it to Madden, that was the one that stuck. You know what I'm saying? Madden. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like music. Think about somebody like Jay-Z. Most people call him Jay or Ho or Jordan. Most people call him Jay. That was the shortened version that stuck. Madden stuck. That ain't going nowhere. Forget about it. But 15 seconds left, man. We had a great show, guys. We appreciate everyone who called. Sorry for the number fiasco. I'll figure out what's going on with that. But like always, stay tuned. We'll be back next week for another show. And we appreciate everyone tuning in. Peace.
Peace.
Once again, guys, thanks for coming by. And if you want to interact with me live, head on over to Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. The call-in number for the show is down in the description. Now, of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. And before you go, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys. Until next time, lights out.